Hi, very good morning to you. It's Gene from maverickstar Observatory. Before we get on with the video, I just want to say a big thanks to those few people that are still hanging in there with me in keeping this observatory going. Wasn't always like that. 10 years ago we didn't have an observatory, so in the last 5 years have we really taken the initiative and gone out there and put all the equipment together so that we could deliver real-time news on a real-time event that is taking place. So huge thank you to you guys. Just want to say also, it's now the 2nd year anniversary of Kemble sending his data in from Canada, and I'm sure within the next week our new magnetometer will arrive in Colombia and we'll be monitoring one of the Earth's lowest magnetic intensities from that point on. So we're still expanding, and let's not forget the fact we've got one of the only trimag systems in the world monitoring and tracking closely the magnetic North Pole as she migrates over the Northern Hemisphere. Guys, if I told you 5 years ago you'd see in 2022 half the world's crops not being able to be produced because of climate change related to the magnetic reversal taking place on this Earth, you'd say, Gene, you're crazy. Same if I told you there was going to be a global economic downturn in 2022, you'd say, same, you're absolutely crazy. Same about if I told you mass global unrest, energy bills tripling, world population increases, jobs decreasing, technology increases, corruption increasing. If I told you all those things, you would say you're off your head. But the truth of the reality is I did tell you 5 years ago, and for some of those things I told you way before. The simple things don't add up, and when they don't add up, that usually means that there are repercussions coming. I'll just briefly talk about 3 of these things. If you've got a global increase in population and you have alongside that at the same time an increase in technological advancement, then obviously what we've seen over the last 20-30 years is as the increase in technology has arrived on the scene, more people have lost their jobs. But when you throw in an increasing global population, you can see that the problem is not getting resolved, and therefore the outcomes and the extremes that we're going to see are going to get worse and worse. Now, I said earlier on that this was largely caused through one anomaly taking place, but there are a couple of others. But of course we've got the grand solar minimum, and that doesn't help things because our sun, when it's nice active, and it's producing lots of sunspots, we have an expansion of the heliosphere which protects our solar system from inbound cosmic radiation. When your Earth starts to experience a magnetic reversal, your primary protection from that cosmic rays is going to decrease, and that's exactly what the data we're looking at shows. Now, I've listed on the top just 3 of the recent solar cycles, and you can see that this chart only goes to 2015, and I have searched endlessly for the latest version of this. It doesn't exist. And I've even offered people a nice bottle of wine if they could put their hands on one. So I've searched for some time on the internet for this. What you can see is where the green arrows are is the levels of cosmic rays. So looking first of all at solar 22 at the peak, which is in the middle of that hump on the top, if we go down to where the green arrow is, you can see that the cosmic rays were being pushed away because we was experiencing a stronger protective heliosphere, and our magnetic field of our Earth wasn't as weak as what it is now. We move along to solar cycle 23, we can see that the sunspot numbers are dropping, and so is the levels of protection during solar maximum. And then when we go to solar cycle 24, where the green arrow is, we see something we haven't seen before, and that is even during solar maximum there is still not energy in the system to push that cosmic rays out of our path. They end up in our upper atmosphere, They create seeding platforms, which allows more water vapour to condensate in the jet streams, and what we have is jet streams that look pretty much like what we are about to see in the next slide. This is an image from Null School, and what we're looking at is the resolution, so it shows up the jet streams on our planet. You can see down in the southern hemisphere super jet streams, massively wider than what they was 30 years ago. Same for over the northern hemisphere, but more so we see a lot of fracturing of the polar and subtropical, both over the northern and southern hemispheres of our planet. Another thing I mentioned around, started to really mention it around about a year ago, is another anomaly that's becoming more popular. That we see a lot more of, and that's interactions over the equatorial region between the two subtropical jet streams on our planet. Well, I don't need to explain to you what will be the causes and effects of hot and cold airs colliding together. It's going to be more of what we've been seeing and witnessing over the last 10-15 years, and that is mass floods, 1,000-year rain records broken. It also has the adverse effect where it causes early forestation fires. This is climate change, and the thing is, it's not getting any better. In fact, we haven't even reached equilibrium. So because of that, I can give you the next 5 years outlook and what we can expect to see. So just before I give you the net outlook for the next 5 years, I just wanted to show you where the jet streams should actually be on our planet, and therefore I've put the 60 degrees north and south, and you can see on the bottom scale there where the jet streams are, and it explains a little bit more information about them. You don't need to be a scientist when you're looking at the northern hemisphere of this shot, and this isn't today's shot, this is just one that I've had in the archive, but it's not changed. As I showed you earlier on the live shot, you can see we've got super jet streams both over the northern and southern hemisphere, and the dislocation between the polar jet streams mixing with the subtropical. So this is just for reference, just so that you know where those polar jet streams and subtropical ones are on our northern and southern hemispheres. So what can we expect for the next 5 years? Everything I mentioned earlier, just on a greater scale. Energy bills tripling, world population increasing still despite the food reduction, and I do believe that will be the case. That's my opinion, and the reason why I say that is because when you see countries like in Southern Africa, places like that around the world, in the Middle East, even though there is massive poverty and food crises every year, you never see the population of those people slowing down. It always continues to increase. Some of the most poorest countries on our planet house the masses of the majority that people live there: China, India, Africa, etc. These are the countries I believe we're going to start seeing massively affected first. And we're still going to see on the side of this, while all this is happening, jobs decreasing because of the technological advancements that we're still making, and all they ever do is take more people out of the job workforce. If you look at the way we build cars today compared to where we built them 30 years ago, the employment factor was 25, even 50 or even 100-fold more than what we've got today. So we can see a job decrease globally, and when we see that happening, we're going to see further poverty, because if people haven't got money to participate in a monetary system, then it doesn't work for them. And with more people losing their jobs because of an increase in technology, that is exactly what we're going to see. We haven't reached equilibrium with two of the problems that we've got at the moment, and a third on the back burner. And I'll tell you what those are. First of all, we've seen no improvement really in the solar cycles. They're still declining, and as a result we're still getting more cosmic rays in our upper atmosphere relating to the grand solar minimum. We are still having more cosmic rays as our primary defective shield at the moment weakens further due to this magnetic pole shift our Earth is undergoing. And then on the long scale, we have a returning back to a glacial period where we could be 6,000 to 8,000 years already in there, and we're just waiting for the signs of that thermocline. We may have seen them. I think it's too early to call it on a 10-year record. That's why I wouldn't go on Michael Mann's chart from the 1900s to predict future climate events. I would rather use the evidence that we've collected more recently regarding those two things: the grand solar minimum, allowing more cosmic rays inbound in the upper atmosphere, and the magnetic reversal taking place. So the other thing to say is, we've probably seen a 50% reduction in the agricultural land that we actually produce on now. And the thing is, we can't lose another 50% of that, because we just will not be able to sustain the numbers of the people on this planet. It will be like when that ship goes down, you are going to start seeing people standing on other people's heads, pushing them under the water as they try to gulp for air. We are facing probably one of the most darkest eras in humanity, and it is very much like what people say in the film, in the comments section about that film, Don't Look Up, because the world in large is going completely blinkered into the future. We at the observatory are trying to keep our eyes on the ball here with regards to at least one of those events, and we'll use other sources so that we can inform you what's going on with the others, and we can put this all together for you so that you've got an informed scientific information at your disposal. And you know what, people were laughing at me 5 years ago when I was telling them that's where we would be today in 2022, and we're here now, and all those things you can see have come to fruition. I guarantee you they will not get any better, because we have not reached equilibrium on all these other anomalies that are taking place that are having a massive effect on the way we conduct ourselves on this planet. It is not a rosy, silver-lined future that we've got. And because we haven't reached equilibrium, the extent of these things that we're going to start seeing now are going to escalate. I guarantee you that. And I really pray I'm wrong about what's about to take place in the next 7 months. If we do cross that 40-degree line and the magnetic poles increase in speed rapidly as they leave the strong field lines that anchor them slowly in a migration, and it just uplifts that anchor and they accelerate, then what we've witnessed over the last 30 years of a gradual slow migrating magnetic pole on this planet could lead to some of the most devastating things ever witnessed by humanity. We can keep you informed with regards to the things that we monitor at this observatory. We monitor oxygen levels, CO2 levels, the position of the magnetic North Pole, and we are putting magnetometers around the world, and this is largely a public effort, only because of a few people chipping a few bucks for this. If you don't believe what I've mentioned in this video, then please do some of your own research, because it is happening. It is just like that film, Don't Look Up. Only thing is, if you look up at the time the event is above your head, you already know. It's way too late to do anything about it. One of the things I've noticed with a few other not subscribers but other people that talk about the like events is that they seem to feel like I've rubbed the back up the wrong way, because I'm talking about things that we actually collect here at our observatory through having that equipment. It hasn't gone down too well, especially I suppose when I say we don't just talk. We actually put feet down on the ground, get the equipment built and put it out there. Over the next week or so, we will have a magnetometer in one of the lowest magnetic regions on our planet, which is expanding, by the way. I believe that's the way you do science. So, I apologise if you're offended by the fact that we have an actual, observatory, which is, in a few other countries, Arizona, Canada, Australia, and now Colombia, and we've had them in Hong Kong. You know, we've done our work here, and we'll continue to do that so long as we get supported. And there's a link down there in the description if you want to help us do that. It's like I said, if you can't do something yourself, then you should help somebody that is prepared to do it for you. We face some real dark times ahead of us, guys, and the only way is working with each other. Proof of that has been the last 5 years of this observatory being in existence and giving you the information that you've had today. There's a link there if you want to help support us. Say what I usually do, you take care of your loved ones. As always, bye for now.